No, they're nervous for your brother.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
My friend called me and said, don't hurt him, Mike. You better do that shit.
Mike Tyson just dropped a shocking bombshell on Jake Paul, and fight fans are buzzing. Tyson isn't holding back anymore and has delivered a final warning to Jake, promising to end not just their rivalry, but Jake's entire boxing career. What triggered this? Jake's relentless trash talk and disrespect toward the sport. But Tyson's had enough, and he's ready to knock Jake out for good, sending a message to the whole world. With a clash set for November 15, one punch could change everything. Is Jake ready for the legend's wrath, or will he back down before it's too late? Welcome to the channel where the drama never sleeps, and the biggest celebrity stories are always front and center. If you're hungry for the juiciest scandals, shocking revelations, and jaw-dropping moments from Hollywood's hottest stars, you're in the right place. From epic meltdowns to explosive feuds, we break it all down so you don't miss a thing. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Buckle up, things are about to get messy. First, let's rewind to where all this chaos began. Jake Paul entered the world of professional boxing back in 2018, making waves for his bold confidence and knockout power. But let's be real, his opponents weren't exactly boxing legends. Most of them were either past their prime or weren't even boxers to begin with. Yet, despite the doubters, Jake Paul managed to knock them out, one after another, building a reputation and an ego that just kept getting bigger. On the other hand, Mike Tyson needs no introduction. This man's fists wrote the history of heavyweight boxing. He became the youngest heavyweight champion at just 20 years old and demolished anyone who dared to step into the ring with him. Tyson is known for his fierce aggression, explosive knockouts, and unshakable intensity. While Tyson officially retired from professional boxing years ago, his name still strikes fear into the hearts of anyone who understands the sport. So when Jake Paul, a newcomer with just a handful of fights under his belt, started to run his mouth about Tyson being washed up and claimed he could take him in a fight, you can imagine the reaction. Tyson, at first, brushed it off like the experienced veteran he is. But as the disrespect kept coming, Tyson's patience wore thin. And now, it looks like Jake Paul is about to learn the hard way that some legends should never be disrespected. To fully grasp how we got here, we need to understand Jake Paul's rise. He wasn't always the fighter he is today. In fact, Jake started out as just a controversial YouTube star, pulling pranks, stirring drama, and generally staying in the spotlight by any means necessary. Love him or hate him, you can't deny Jake's ability to draw attention. But something changed in 2018. Jake decided to shift gears and enter the world of boxing. At first, no one took him seriously. After all, what business did a YouTuber have in the ring? His debut fight was against fellow YouTuber Anason Gibb, and Jake knocked him out in the first round, surprising everyone. But people still weren't convinced. The real breakthrough came when Jake knocked out former NBA player Nate Robinson in one of the most talked about knockouts of 2020. Social media exploded with memes, reactions, and discussions. That fight put Jake on the map. But even then, critics pointed out that Jake was fighting non-boxers. When he fought UFC fighters like Ben Askren and Tyron Woodley, both of whom were retired and past their prime, he won. But the boxing community still wasn't fully impressed. Jake's victory over MMA legend Anderson Silva turned more heads. But even then, Silva was already in his 40s. The question remained, could Jake Paul actually fight a real boxer? And more importantly, could he take on someone like Mike Tyson, who built a legacy on pure knockout power? To understand why Jake Paul's challenge to Mike Tyson was so bold, some might say reckless, you have to know who Tyson really is. Tyson is not just a retired boxer, he's a living legend whose career changed the sport forever. At his peak, Tyson was a knockout machine. He became the youngest heavyweight champion in history at the age of 20, and his reputation was built on sheer fear. When Tyson stepped into the ring, opponents knew they weren't just fighting a man, they were facing a force of nature. Tyson's style was aggressive, relentless, and devastating. He didn't just defeat his opponents, he annihilated them. Over his career, Tyson racked up a record of 50 wins, with 44 of those coming by knockout. Even today, in his mid-50s, Tyson's training videos show that he hasn't lost that explosiveness. He might not be in his prime anymore, but make no mistake, the power in those fists is still terrifying. Jake Paul's bravado, claiming he could knock Tyson out, was like waving a red flag in front of a bull. And after months of staying quiet, Tyson has finally had enough. Now, Jake Paul is no stranger to controversy. He's built his career on stirring up drama. But even Jake should have known better than to go after Mike Tyson. At first, Tyson took Jake's comments in stride. He even said in interviews that he respected what Jake was doing for boxing, bringing in a younger audience and keeping the sport relevant. But Jake, always looking for the next viral moment, took things too far. He started trash-talking Tyson, calling him washed up and saying he could easily knock him out. That's when everything changed. Tyson has never been one to back down from a challenge, but he's also not someone who needs to prove himself. However, when Jake's insults turned personal and disrespected Tyson's legacy, it was clear that Jake had crossed the line. During a recent interview, Mike Tyson finally let loose. In what many are calling his final warning to Jake Paul, Tyson didn't hold back. He said, "Jake Paul doesn't understand what he's playing with. Boxing is a serious sport, not a game. And if he keeps running his mouth, he's going to find out exactly what that means." But Tyson didn't stop there. He made it clear that he's willing to come out of retirement and face Jake Paul in the ring just to teach him a lesson. Tyson's exact words were, "I'll step in the ring with him, and he'll see what real boxing is." These words sent shockwaves across the internet. For many, this was the moment they had been waiting for, a potential showdown between a social media star and a true boxing icon. Fans immediately took to Twitter and Instagram, speculating about what would happen if Tyson and Jake Paul actually fought. As expected, the internet had a field day with Tyson's comments. Memes flooded social media, with fans roasting Jake Paul and predicting his demise at the hands of Tyson. Some joked that Jake wouldn't last a single round, while others shared clips of Tyson's brutal knockouts from the 80s and 90s, asking, "Does Jake even know what he's getting into?" But amidst the jokes and memes, there were also some serious discussions. Could Jake Paul, a fighter in his 20s with youthful energy and some decent skills, actually stand a chance against Tyson, who's in his late 50s but still has the raw power of a heavyweight champion? Fans on both sides of the debate are passionate. Some believe Jake's speed and younger age give him a slim chance. Others argue that Tyson's experience, power, and sheer intimidation factor would be too much for Jake to handle. And now, we're getting the fight that everyone's been waiting for. On November 15, 2024, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul will step into the ring for a fight that's being billed as Clash of the Eras. It's a spectacle unlike anything we've seen in recent boxing history, a 58-year-old legend taking on a brash, young YouTube star. This fight isn't just about money or fame, it's about pride, legacy, and respect. For Tyson, it's a chance to remind the world and Jake Paul what real boxing looks like. For Jake, it's an opportunity to prove that he's more than just a loudmouth with a big following. Winning this fight could legitimize his entire boxing career, while losing could bring everything crashing down. Let's talk about what's really on the line in this fight. For Mike Tyson, this isn't just another comeback. Sure, he fought Roy Jones Jr. in an exhibition match in 2020, but this is different. This fight is personal. Tyson's reputation as one of the greatest boxers of all time isn't at risk, but his pride is. He wants to show Jake Paul and everyone watching that there's a massive difference between being a YouTube boxer and being a heavyweight champion. For Jake Paul, the stakes couldn't be higher. He's built his career on hype, controversy, and knocking out fighters who, frankly, weren't at their peak. But this is Mike Tyson we're talking about. If Jake wins, he'll silence his critics and cement himself as a legitimate force in boxing. But if he loses, and let's face it, the odds aren't exactly in his favor, it could spell the end of the Jake Paul boxing experiment. So, how has Jake responded to Tyson's challenge? In typical Jake Paul fashion, he's acting like it's no big deal. He posted a video on Instagram where he was shadowboxing and saying, "Tyson better be ready, because I'm coming for him." But let's be honest behind the bravado. Jake has to be feeling the pressure. Tyson is not like any opponent Jake has ever faced. The man is a beast, even at 58 years old, and the world will be watching to see if Jake can back up his trash talk, or if he's finally bitten off more than he can chew. As the date of the fight approaches, the hype is only growing. The media is covering every little detail. Fans are picking sides, and the boxing world is buzzing with anticipation. This is more than just a fight. It's an event that's going to draw in fans from all corners of the world, whether they're there to see Jake Paul get humbled or to witness Mike Tyson prove he's still got it. So, what do you think? Is Jake Paul walking into the biggest mistake of his life, or does he actually have a shot at taking down one of the greatest fighters of all time? Let us know in the comments below. We can't wait to see how this plays out. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the Mike Tyson vs. Jake Paul saga, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of the madness. This fight is shaping up to be one of the wildest celebrity showdowns in history, and you can bet we'll be here covering every punch, jab, and knockout as it unfolds. Until next time, stay tuned for more celebrity drama, messy feuds, and everything you love about Hollywood right here on the channel. Peace out.